Good afternoon, my friends. This is the Grim Flayer. Hope you're all doing very well today, and welcome to another run out with Kroxa Jund in Modern. Thank you, by the way, to everybody who watched the first debut of the new tech. That is now my by far most watched league ever, my most watched video ever, in fact. So thank you so much. Let's capitalize, right? The people clearly want to see Jund. Let's play it again for you, but I do have a couple of ideas in terms of how to change up the list. Now, I will say I haven't been able to play that much. Haven't been able to play this at all, in fact, since the last time I ran it out. So, nevertheless, I do feel that we could benefit from just very slightly increasing our threat count. Therefore, I am interested in a one of Seasoned Pyromancer. This is something some other people are doing alongside Kroxa as well. Kind of synergizes with the whole plan. And also, we are already making double red. A big reason I haven't traditionally liked this card in the times I have played Jund is because I feel it stretches the mana base a lot to include the double R casting cost cards, right? But because we're already committing to that pretty hard, no real problem making another choice along those lines. So just a one of, just main deck, and in order to facilitate that, I'm going to cut a Kolaghan's command, move it to the side. It's not as necessary as it once was, but I still do kind of want access to 2 in my 75, so I think this is a fine enough sideboard card. It's a little weird to have so many high-costed shatter effects, right? But they all flex into multiple roles. They're all good grindy cards. I'm going to make a couple other changes. I'm going to kind of clarify the sideboard a little bit. Shadow Spear, I still think can Jund, but I do want to just give Burn and Mono Red Prowess a little bit more, acknowledgement that they are right there at the top of the format. Just play a second Brutality. Again, clarify things. It's less conditional. I do think Shadow Spear is a little bit better in Rock because we have a higher threat count and not as many competing slots. Therefore, I'm going to keep testing Shadow Spear, but it's going to be more in the Rock decks. Here in Jund, let's just play the second Brutality. Speaking of clarifying the sideboard, I haven't been running into Yawgmoth, even though a lot of people said we could expect to. So I'm just going to go back to another Nihil Spellbomb. It's going to give me something lower curve to do against the Shadow decks. I do like Spellbomb against Shadow decks. It's not a non-bow with Kroxa, and hopefully the other matchups where we would want Grafdigger's Cage, Spellbomb will be just as good. Grafdigger's has more flex. It flexes into a wider variety of archetypes, but Spellbomb is arguably better, right? So at what it does. That leaves us with Veil of Summer. I'm not sure I want it. I think I might just cut it. I mean, I do want it, but more than anything else here, that's where I'm not sure. I'm calling into question Veil just because it doesn't coincide with our plan. It's not a good fit in mid-range decks, but I also think it's really OP. So my concession has been to compromise and just play it as a one-of, but maybe let's move away from that for this league, considering cutting a Collector Ouphe here as well. But is there anything else that we desperately need to bring in? I don't really think so. I would actually just kind of be, frankly, considering a third Ashiok, which seems really good. I've been really high on Ashiok lately. And I would also not mind another piece of low curve removal, but none of them really feel like good uses of a sideboard slot to me right now. Yeah, you know what? Let's just try triple Ashiok here. We'll leave a lonely one of Ouphe in there. And we will be well prepared for the Primeval Titan decks. We've got a ton of stuff to do against graveyard decks. Let's hit it. Let's just play some Jund. Let us Jund them out, my friends. Yeah, obviously still hoping to see Kroxa put in a lot of work here. Kroxa's been good from a lot of the feedback I've heard from people. Basically everybody, on the Discord, other people who've messaged me directly, if they're actually playing with Kroxa, they're pretty high on the card. There's a lot of skepticism, which I totally get. I think that's completely fair, but most of the skepticism does, to be fair, seem to be coming from people who haven't played with the card yet, so last time out, we did not see Kroxa all that much, just didn't draw it all that much, and we kind of had an unusual situation where we faced the only attrition matchup where we don't necessarily want the Kroxa, which was against the Lingering Souls deck of Dead Gael. We faced it twice. We'll keep this hand. So that's kind of weird. Like a weirdly non-ideal situation for our beloved Kroxa, but hey. We will hope Kroxa shines here. Now, Scalding Tarn Pass, I don't know what that means, but Inquisition seems like the play to me. Another Bloodbraid Elf means our late game value is going to be insane. We've just got to try to get there. And we are against Grixis Shadow. They have Shadow. They can go down to 14 just based on what's in hand. I think we're just supposed to take the threat. Sometimes I feel a little bit weird about taking away a threat with discard against Shadow just because we are Jund, or when I'm on Rock, and we have a lot of kill spells, right? But, okay, opponents found a Serum Vision, so they're cantripping up a Storm. You gotta imagine after all this they're gonna find another threat. But we've drawn Assassin's Trophy, which is great. So now the value train begins. Wrenn and Six buying back the lands, unless they found Stubborn Denial. Sure. I mean, that's not good for us, don't get me wrong, but that was probably going to be a problem no matter what. Okay, here come the Scions. I think we're probably priced into trophying them. We don't want to just have them alt us, right? Yeah, I'll buy that. I'll trophy here. I think doing it main phase and risking them getting a basic is worth it because it means we get to play this tapped and we don't have to worry about getting blown out by Stubby D. They're probably out of basics now. They still, I think we still knew their whole hand. Ah, no, there's a lightning bolt they looted away. Sure, so I think we know 2 cards in their hand. And they found a Gurmag Angler, so they're curving out really well, make no mistake. But hey, you know what? I mean, we kind of are too. Let's Bloodbraid into a Liliana. Tarmogoyf, I accept. Raging Ravine could be really useful here too. Like, right now they're on the Angler plan, but that can change, and they get nice and low on their life total. They have a Snapcaster Mage? Alright, how did we mistrack their hand? Did they, oh, wait a minute. Thought they had 2 ops and 2 lightning bolts? I guess something's wrong. But either way, they go Snap Opt. Then they found another removal spell. Jeez. Okay, well, there goes their bolt. Okay, Bloodbraid. Yeah, Bloodbraid. Another Goyf, sure. Yep, I'm gonna race and I'm gonna make them have some way to punish us for this. Opponent playing mismatched art ops, so we gotta watch out for that, we gotta track it. Come on, really, Snapcaster Mage? So, note how punished we are for having trophied them. They might have been on 4 lands this entire time. Well, never mind, they've got the land anyway, right? Okay, well, it's coming right down to it, guys. What do we want, another Bloodbraid Elf? We don't want Blood Crypt, that I can tell you. That I can tell you. So... I mean, we're kind of chumping no matter what we do. So I think it's actually better to chump with Bob than it is to chump with Raging Ravine. We also are bluffing removal this way, or like a bolt, like a block plus a bolt could make their attacks really awkward. So, yeah, this is all we got. Oh my god. They top deck the bolt. Like, you know, there are so many progressions they could have where these bolts and all these ops and cantrips are just terrible against us, but that was perfect. That was perfect for them. Not a very good start to our league, guys, and as I mentioned, taking out Veil of Summer means we have even less to do against Shadow, so not really the matchup I want to see. I'm just kind of tired of playing against it. I think it's a cool deck and all, but just a little bit tired of seeing it, personally. I don't think we're going to play Pillage against them. We might play one Ashiok on the play. It's kind of cute. I think I definitely want these three, and I'll consider these three. I mean, we've got a really good 60 against them already. Here's where my inexperience on Jund relative to Rock kicks in. I don't know how to rate Lightning Bolt. I'm sure we're probably supposed to cut all of them. But you do wonder, you know, about leaving some in as a way to cheese out games, but probably not, right? Let's at least consider cutting all of them. And we'll also consider cutting up to 4 Inquisition, but probably not all 4. And like 1 Wrenn and Six. Alright, these 3 in, these 3 out. I mean, let's just get a little bit more threat oriented on the play. And even so, we're still leaving in 3 Inquisition. I guess that makes me want to cut another Inquisition and just play the full 3 Wrenn and Six. That seems fine. And yeah, no bolts, 1 Ashiok. Yeah, I like it. Certainly feels like we kind of got that game 1 stolen from us, which feels real bad. Feels real bad to me. Like, I want to be picking up wins in situations like that, because you never know what else can go wrong. It's an pretty unexciting keep, but one that's totally justifiable on the play. Okay, is it a serum? Yep. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but my kids just got up from a nap upstairs and they are flipping out. They are not happy. And, you know, to be fair, who likes to wake up from a nap? I can't even nap because I'll feel like death for the entire rest of the day if I do. Or I'm just incapable of waking up from it. So, got some incentives to Thoughtseize over Bob here. Namely, so we can resolve Liliana next turn. Clear out a stubby D. Also got incentives to just jam good old Bob, though. I'm going to play Bob, but we're going to make them have, like, exactly Fatal Push, plus permission or discard to really punish us. And they don't. They have to lead on Serum, so now no matter what happens, something good happens. Like, they either kill our Bob or we resolve Lily. Okay, they kill Bob. Sure, we get to resolve Lily. Alright, so I guess we get basic Mountain with this. Just pitching Thoughtseize here. Okay. Opponent shocking in, then passing. Smells like a Snapcaster Mage to me. Pretty free pitch here of Blackcleave Cliffs, so I suppose we'll begin with that tick up. And I kind of want to play Kalitas. Like, they could have Kolaghan's Command, though, and that would be a reason to just jam the Bloodbraid Elf for the guaranteed 2-for-1. This is a tough call. I don't want to Bloodbraid into something dead, though, like a Fatal Push. Kalitas is higher upside, and we are ahead. I'm going to go for that. Also doesn't die to Snap Bolt. And, like, yes, we're vulnerable to the discard mode of K-Command right now. That would really suck. But they don't have another, like, what are they going to do? Shock Liliana, I guess, right? So, sure enough, it is Snap Bolt. And, yeah, I like our Kalitas play in light of that. Now, maybe they have a way to finish Liliana off. But, again, we're giving them multiple headaches to deal with. That's all we can really do. Okay. Kinda sucks. But Kalitas is done for. You know what I'm thinking they might have. I'm not going to say it out loud, though, because I'm done calling their shots. We did enough of that already recently. Ooh, another Lily, huh? Let's Bloodbraid. That's tempting, though. Nice. I am going to ping the snap here. And I am going to attack, because we have Liliana to beat a Shadow. And they have Fatal Push anyway. Sure. Okay. What now? What now? Kolaghan's Command, buying back Snapcaster Mage and killing our Wrenn. That's awful. Then we draw Fatal Push, which is a specifically awful draw in light of our Liliana here, but I guess we're still just pretty clearly jamming her. They don't appear to have a Death Shadow at all, so I suppose we kind of have to tick up. But yeah, that's pretty much a tilt. Would have been the perfect time to draw a discard spell. You know what would be sweet off the top is Kroxa. You can see how Kroxa would be an absolute destruction in these types of matchups. Oh, opponent's last card in hand was an island, so we're hurt a lot more by the Liliana than they are, which is, I think, the odds of the draws lining up like to the point where our turn 6 Lily, after everything that happened, was worse for us than for them, are pretty low, but that's what happened. That said, we're still the one with the Lily, and that was still decent value because now they cannot snap K-Command. Unless they drew another land. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's what we want to see, my friends. Bloodbraid off the top, into Bob, sure. Let's take the Lily up. Opponent chose not to snap Drown in the lock on either of those. They can always do that right now. But Royal Scions. Alright, so do we want to put pressure on her, or do we want to protect our Lily? They've got Snap Push or Snap Drown right now. I think we're hanging back. Okay, opponent just continuing to rip through some good stuff, but we are going to have a Liliana around after all said and done. So let's Edict the OP. And then I think we have enough good 2-drops that I'm going to main phase crack the Peatland here. Okay. Okay, opponent bricked 2, thankfully. We're bricking as well. Guess that's 3 non-utility lands off the top in a row, when we could really be burying the game. So right now we want to fade another 2-for-1 Snapcaster Mage Kolaghan's Command. Hey, they bricked. Nice. I'm going to thin out here on the end step. I'm in the habit of getting more green even though we don't have Skoos in the deck. I guess it's not necessary. Where's Kroxa? Oh my god, really? Okay. I guess Swamp is probably their only fetchable left. That's worth noting. Otherwise, they wouldn't have got it there, I assume. Their top deck is Serum Visions. They go 1 top, and they found a Shadow. All right, time for us to stop bricking. Oh my god, really? Yes. The 5th land in a row, right? 5 lands in a row? They wouldn't top something that's not a threat, yeah, and it's another Shadow. Okay, we can still redeem ourselves with a good draw right now. Tarmogoyf's acceptable. Again, I don't think they have a shock to go get. Yep. And look, we're still fine overall, but it's just like this game should be over. We draw a trophy. Okay. Trophy you before you get to draw permission. Okay, yeah, I think we're favored in the top deck war. And that's where we're at. OP found EE on 2. Sure, interesting. Interesting find. It's kind of a high variance find right now, but it could definitely be good. Neither player is going to turn his or her nose up at any form of action right now. And we find the Kroxa, who does die to the EE on 2. Really? How annoying can you get? Well, what does that mean? I can't believe they have just a EE sitting on 2. How annoying. Anyway, what we can do here is, I guess, just bolt them twice with it. And then have it again next turn. Alright. Black, black, red, red. Okay, so opponent's going to be dead next turn to double escaped Kroxa. Must they find some way to stop it. They did have another fetchable. Interesting. I guess they were just leaving that shock in the tank in case they wanted it. You know, for instant speed way to grow the shadow, whatever. Liliana seems like a good draw, but let's just try to kill him with Kroxa. If they're going to give us the attack trigger, then that's another way that we have more inevitability. I don't know why they would, but yeah, they got the EE, sure. And then the concession. Okay, so they had no out. They just wanted to make us see it, I guess. Kroxa. Kroxa the closer. And like at literally any point in that game, Kroxa would have been good, because it would have disrupted their curve and then given us something to work toward in the mid-game. But as it was, it can just simply close out the game too. I think I'm going to play another Inquisition here on the draw. Maybe cutting I think Plague Man's a little better than Kalitas here. Kalitas is probably just way too clunky on the draw. Kinda like it otherwise. Let's try to beat him. Let's try to get that win. But hey, a good cameo from the big man, from the Titan of Death's Hunger. You love to see that. OP keeping 7, we've got a hand that I suppose we have to mull. If we draw a fetch land, off the top it becomes an amazing hand. But it's totally non-functional if we don't. So we mull, we keep, and let's bottom Tarmogoyf here, because I'm just going to try not to lose. With Thoughtseize, Kroxa, Trophy, Bloodbraid, I think that's correct. We could also bottom Bloodbraid. But I'm going to bottom Goyf. If that was just our 7, it would have been a pretty amazing one. Okay, I guess we don't play Swamp in case we draw Wrenn and Six next turn. Okay, opponent on a 2-lander with the cantrips, the bolt, the push, and the Dreadbore. Don't really care about much of this right now. I think I'm just going to take... Oh, wow, and they don't have a black land either. I'm going to take Fatal Push, though. We've got to assume that, like, one opt is not the difference between them hitting their black land and failing to. And if it proves to be, then so be it. No, they just naturally drew it off the top, so. Okay, we know the whole hand, they're holding up double opt, and they're also holding up Lightning Bolt, but we draw Tarmogoyf. Okay, I think we're supposed to play Kroxa here. But that our mana is just kind of awkward. I guess putting off green is pretty fine. Yeah, we got Kroxa on curve, getting gas out of the hand. Opponent will top with the first opt. Well, maybe, actually, after these two opts, we might just get an island or something out of the hand, too. And again, Kroxa doesn't really shine on curve, but I think playing it right then, right there is perfectly reasonable. So they decide to keep their island around. Royal Scions, you got it. Maybe looting away this Dreadbore, looking for something more proactive. They loot away Thoughtseize. It's fine with me, we've got a hand who doesn't want to be Thoughtseized. Seasoned Pyromancer. We supposed to play that? Discard 2, draw 2? I mean, it's mana efficient. The big problem, of course, is we don't really want to lose anything out of our hand, right? But this does fuel Kroxa. It does make their Dreadbore a lot worse. And it does get us toward our fourth land for Kroxa and for Bloodbraid Elf. So I guess we're going to do it. Are we supposed to... I can't imagine pitching, like, Goyf and Trophy, though. I think I'm just going to Trophy here. It's a little unexciting, but... And this is how we lost the first game, is because we kind of didn't have anything better to do than Trophy. But I just don't think the loot is on right now. I don't think the loot's on. Maybe if we were on the play. But, like, what we really want to do is just top deck a land, go Bloodbraid Elf, and then be able to empty our hand for more value. Nihil Spellbomb. It's a pretty good one, in some ways. In another way, if they had, like, a Gurmag Angler, they would already have cast it, but maybe they have a Snapcaster Mage. So I think we're supposed to play Spellbomb out. Maybe it prompts action in response. If not, I think we just go Goyf. Yeah, they got the snap. Oh, they've got Drown in the lock. Interesting. Sure, okay. Play the Goyf. They have Dreadbore for this, but we're getting closer to what we want to do with Spyro and Bloodbraid. We're getting more fuel for the Kroxa this way. It's got to hit that fourth land. Opponent makes the fifth land drop, then fetches. And shocks. Dreadbore. 2 cards left in hand. Liliana. Yikes. EE on 0. That's cool. That's a cute play because it won't go to the graveyard unless they want it to, which means it won't grow our Goyf. I think we just have to pitch Bloodbraid here. Like, Spyro's good against Lily. Spyro's good in our graveyard, too, but... Ooh, the tokens get cleaned up by EE, though. Didn't really think of that. Still think this was the right play, though. Like, we can't just bank on drawing an untapped 4th land. I guess we just are going on the Kroxa plan, aren't we? So let's play out the land. We're going to lose our Wrenn and Six to the Lily +1, most likely. We've got to fetch a land that's not a basic forest. Red, red, black, black. Doesn't really matter what we get. Let's just get another... Let's get a tomb. Plague Engineer, huh? So playing Plague Man is the value-oriented thing. We have like Kroxa in the back pocket the entire time. I think I will. And name Human, which is going to make Snapcaster Mage bad. So this is much more the value-oriented thing because we don't lose a card for no real reason to Liliana. But it also means that the game's going to go longer. Like, playing Kroxa was a little... or escaping Kroxa was a little higher risk, high reward, right? But here's the value. So we lose Spyro. Spyro gets his own value out of the graveyard. We draw Inquisition. All right. Definitely going Kroxa this turn, but let's begin by trying to kill Lily. If this is a fatal push, we actually should have gone Kroxa main phase, but let's just see. They could always push the Kroxa itself, right? Let's leave one land in there for Wrenn and Six. Otherwise, try to diversify our types, I guess. Probably doesn't matter too much in all honesty. But we'll do it something like that. Stubby D out of their hand. Sure. Well, they're going to go to 1 here from this attack. If they don't have a removal spell, that is. Alright, let's deploy Peatland, and then let's swing. I think I'd rather make the tokens than cast Inquisition and activate Peatland. Okay, Kroxa gets got. We're just escaping the big guy again. While we can, right? Leaving the Spyro in there. Okay, OP draws a land. GG, we got him. That was a long game. GG's. Very true, my friend. Piet0410. GG's. Well played. And that's it. That's the game. So that was a very tiring one to start it off with. But we'll take it. We'll take the W. Kind of a tough loss in game one, but Kroxa carrying us post side. You love to see that. And we start off the league on the right foot. Hopefully the games go a little bit quicker, though, from here on out. I don't want another 3.5-hour league that's been known to happen on the channel, right? But hey, at the same time, it's all good. It's all fun. We're having fun. Opponent's mulling. Well, I was about to say we'll keep. Will we keep? I guess against a mulling opponent we can keep. Like, Inquisition is just the number one thing I want against any opponent taking a mulligan, especially down to 5. Bloodbraid is the number one thing I want at the top end. Obviously, there's a whole lot of turns in between, but you know what? Opponent going basic mountain pass after a mull to 5. Okay, if this is like burn or prowess, I think we're in great shape. What if it's like a prison deck? I think I'm going to fetch basic swamp here in case it's a prison deck with Blood Moon, and also just because that's a fine thing to do against the mono-red decks. It could also be Titan Shift. Oh, look at that call. Look at the call. Oh, man. All right, I think we take... Ooh. I mean, Eidolon is the one I care about the least. Actually, not going to take Eidolon here. But we can function under the Blood Moon pretty well. This is a tough call. You know what? I do think I'm just going to take Eidolon. I could actually see us losing to that. And I don't think we should be losing to Ensnaring Bridge. But a big part of me did want to take the bridge because our outs to it are not as plentiful as I'm used to in Rock. Okay, that's a little annoying, drawing the other catacombs right after the moon, but hey. It is all good. Okay, so we're just really going all in on these Bloodbraid Elves, but we have a ton of other really good draws, both off of the Cascade and off the top of the deck. Okay, so opponent is probably thinking our sequencing didn't really make much sense until now. Now it all becomes clear. Okay, just got to find an out to the Bloodbraid, and Spyro can really help us do that. So that was a pretty good draw, too. Uh-oh. Ritual, is this into Chandra? Please no Chandra. Or maybe just a ritual to keep us from attacking with the Bloodbraid Elf. Eidolon. Okay. Don't care. Dark Confidant, another good draw. So do we go Spyro and Bob? Or do we go Bloodbraid Elf? I kind of think it's supposed to be Spyro and Bob. Not going to make any tokens. Okay, we found a trophy. Sweet. Ooh, Slagstorm? Wiping the entire board besides Goyf? It's a little impolite. That's a little rough. Okay, so if we want to, we can now trophy the moon and then pulse the bridge. But I don't think we're supposed to care about moon. I think we are supposed to simply simply plan to play around it. So now I'm thinking about whether to trophy or to pulse. There's obvious pros and cons to both. Once again, I think the only card we have left that we truly care about is Ensnaring Bridge, so I'm just going to pulse it. I think this is fine. That sweeper was a little rough, though. We're kind of unusually soft to that. A lot of the times we're either not going that wide, and or our stuff is bigger. They're on a 2-turn clock from this Goyf. Okay, I didn't want to give them the 4th land, but they hit it anyway. It's Chalice on 2. That is scary. Actually, that was a reason to have trophied over Pulsed, is Chalice. But alright, so do we... I almost said, do we want Goyf or Bloodbraid? Well, clearly we want Bloodbraid, because Goyf gets... Goyf gets countered. Well, that's pretty fine with me. Alright, good game. Well, we asked for a quicker game and we got one. These games can get grindy, but certainly don't expect them to be as grindy on average as the Jund versus Grixis Shadow match. Okay, so I don't think I've ever played against Mono Red Prison on Jund. It's also not a very common archetype. I've never really seen Slagstorm out of them. So you can imagine how, an Eidolon is not really stock in all lists, so you can imagine how there's going to be a lot of conjecture involved with our siding here. We probably want every answer to Bridge and Chalice that we can manage. Pillage is a little weak here, I think, overall, but it's just kind of a 3-mana Shatter, but I'm probably still going to play it. Definitely want the K command. Don't think we really want anything else. Like, you could make an argument for Plague Engineer if they're on the Goblin Rabble Master plan, but we haven't seen that yet. I don't think we're going to worry about that. So let's just bring in our stuff that kills the hate pieces and figure out what we don't like. Brutality against Eidolon is not the worst. It takes away a ritual, maybe. Also, again, kills Rabble Master, but I don't think we're supposed to play it. I'm going to cut Fatal Pushes, even though they show me Eidolon. And I think, even though Lily's good, I'm going to trim 1 because of her mana cost against a Blood Moon deck on the draw. We don't want to get stranded with too many uncastable things. The rest of our stuff is either things that we kind of have to leave in, or are fairly castable under a moon, like if we have 1 basic. Well, I guess I'm just going to cut a Lightning Bolt. I don't know. I think our 60 is really good. OP will mull. We'll keep a double fetch land hand. It's got a lot of stuff to like about it, too. Having these red spells alongside the double fetch land and Bob and Goyf means that we have some very awkward sequencing decisions to make with our lands. Like, do we play around Blood Moon and kind of keep ourselves off of red incidentally? Or do we not and maybe lose to a Blood Moon? Right? That's our decision right now. Opponent all the way down to 5, though. We draw Basic Forest. Nice. Okay. So, yeah. Let's run this out. So if we get Swamp here, the only thing we cannot cast... Okay, Rabblemaster. I want to kill that. So if we get, like... Alright, let's plan to get Swamp with our Verdant Catacombs. So if we get Stomping Ground here... Nah, we should get Blood Crypt here. Right? Blood Crypt plus basic Swamp plus basic Forest. That does mean we have to play Bob instead of Goyf next turn, but I think that's fine. Might be better anyway. That one's like a pure judgment call. But yeah, now we're still playing around the moon. The only thing in hand we won't be able to cast is Pillage. But... Oh, we're untapping with Bob. Lovely. Inquisition and Thoughtseize. Alright. I think I'm going to Thoughtseize here because they might have a 4-drop in hand. We revealed Inquisition, whatever. Hazaret and Chandra. Well, those are both real bad news. Those are both super bad news. I think we kind of have to take Hazaret. At least we can beat Chandra down and she can't even kill Goyf right now. So... Oh, glad I Thoughtseized. And they hit the 4th land for her, so that kind of sucks. Obviously, we wish she was just rotting in hand. But there goes Bob, I suppose. Yep. Which, at the end of the day, is alright with me. Kolaghan's command a fine draw. Believe we're supposed to play another Bob here. Get our stuff down under a potential Chalice on too. Just continue being proactive, going wide, all the usual stuff. They found a land. Alright, we found a Pulse. That's a little harsh, Bob. A little harsh. That's the concession, though. Okay, good enough. Hey, wish granted. Quick game, quick round 2. You love to see that. And guys, we're doing it. We're 2-0. Didn't need to call in the big man this time. Didn't need to call in Kroxa. The core rock stuff. The core green-black. The core Jund stuff, excuse me. Bloodbraid Elf pulling its weight in game 1. And the Bobs and the Goyfs and the Thoughtseize getting it done in game 2. I am conceptually opposed to the mono-red prison decks. I think that the notion of powering out a turn 1 or even turn 2 Blood Moon, the notion of playing Ensnaring Bridge and Chalice of the Void, even powering out like Rabblemaster ahead of curve, I don't think it's good gameplay. I don't like the patterns of play it seeks to bring to bear. So one of the reasons I really like the green-black X archetype is because we can kind of dumpster that not insignificant amount of the time, right? Feels good. Looks like a good hand to me. Keep winning a die roll for the first time in the league. And time to rip the hand to shreds, I would say. Okay, Blood Moon Kolaghan's command, Lightning Bolt. Well... Is this like just a red-black prison? I don't know what this is. Is this like Astrolabe Jund? I don't know, but either way, we're going to take Blood Moon. Because we're pretty soft to it. It's also a way to really grow the Goyf early. And we might play Goyf next turn instead of the double discard spell. In fact, I think we should. I would be more confident if I knew more clearly what we were up against, right? but we know that at minimum we can Inquisition away that K command next turn, which is going to be great. They drew another Blackcleave Cliffs, so we know most of the hand. Ooh, okay. Only a Lightning Bolt's left. They've got nothing, really. The only bad thing about what's going on is we can't have a very mana-efficient turn, but hey, we'll take it, right? I don't know how aggressively I want to fire off this Lightning Bolt for damage, because I don't know what I'm playing against. Looks like they're about to do something here, though. Basic Swamp. Ransack the Lab. Oh, is this Mardu Pyromancer? Okay. Just seeing, like, nothing white. Didn't have that on my radar, but that's alright. Okay, I think we're just untapping and Thoughtseizing here. But that's... yeah, whatever. Thoughtseize. Ooh, see you later, Bedlam Reveler. All right. Bolting upstairs actually ends the game this turn if we untap and also K-command for damage, but, like, I think the blowout risk is too high if they drew a Fatal Push, so I'm just going to play it a little more cautiously than that. Obviously, drawing another Tarmogoyf, pretty good here. Gotta imagine that's going to be game. One way or t'other. They'd probably need, like, Bedlam Reveler into a bunch of nutty stuff right here. And even so, we can just bolt and K-command for lethal, so they'd need, like, removal, Inquisition. They did not have this. Okay, so that feels great to win this game one, because this is another archetype I haven't seen in forever. Modern's just wide open. I'm assuming it's Mardu Pyromancer. I wish I knew what the archetype looked like these days. I do have just a random comment in my head right now, and I don't know where I heard it. Maybe Discord, maybe Reddit or something, but something about them not even playing Young Pyromancer anymore. That would change how we side a little bit. I'm specifically thinking of, like, how good Anger of the Gods is going to be. I think we're going to want the grindy stuff and the graveyard. The value-based graveyard hate. Kalitas is probably good enough. Plague Man we probably want. Again, I'm assuming like a more familiar Pyromancer build. Okay, let's assume they're playing Pyro. And decide accordingly. So, I guess that means Anger. Plague Man, K-Command, all good. Kalitas pretty good. Brutality, like in Ashiok, you could see leveraging these cards, but I don't believe we're probably going to. Let's try to fit these 6 in. Let's cut, like, all but one, or maybe even all 4 Lilies of the Veil. I think on the draw that's probably correct. Probably also want to consider moving away from, like, our Inquisitions. Maybe all of them, maybe just some. I think I'm also going to trim one Kroxa on the, like, basis of them just getting a lot of graveyard value in general. I think the rest of our deck looks pretty solid. So let's just cut all Lilies on the draw. Cut 2 Inquisitions. Got a card to bring back in. Or another one to play, like a Brutality. How much respect do we want to give to Young Pyromancer to the point where we'd play Collective Brutality? Probably not. think Ashiok's better on the play, too. Alright, let's just play more discard effects. Yeah, and you hate to see them in the top deck wars, but maybe we can disrupt them well enough where we'll just curve out on them. And hey, we're a Pyromancer deck too, don't forget that. We got the Spyro on our side. At least one of them. They've probably got 4. They've probably got 4. Feels all pretty haphazard the way we're configured right now, but I'll take it. What a nice keep. Yeah, as long as they don't have turn 1 discard, it's a nice keep. And they don't, and we draw a swamp to naturally be hedged against Blood Moon, so we can go Cliffs, Inquisition, and then fetch basic Forest for Wrenn next turn. They've got double Spyro, Ransack the Lab, Liliana the Veil. Well, that's all pretty annoying. I think I'm going to take the Lily, even though we can beat her with our second Inquisition. I don't want to risk not being able to do that for some reason. Like they would, like if they top deck discard here, for instance. So Lily's just so good against us, you can't really go wrong taking her, right? Okay, we can really stop drawing lands any day now. That would be cool. That's kind of the one bad thing about our hand. It is flood risk inherently. Dreadbore, yikes. Kolaghan's Command, okay. Don't think we need that yet, but it's at least a good card. Oh no, they have Chandra coming down the pipeline. Okay. I thought about playing a fetch land there just in case they top deck Blood Moon. But if they top deck Blood Moon and they feel like they want to play that over Chandra, I think that'd actually be good for us. So I play the Ravine there. Obviously, Chandra is a nightmare on curve right now. Let's see what we can do about her. Thoughtseize? Okay. That's something, right? Oh, ew. Pithing Needle naming Raging Ravine is actually a problem, but Spyro blocks the Ravine very well, too. So I think we're going to take him. Otherwise, they just get to go Needle, Spyro. Yeah, that's too much. We can K-Command, though. We can also just K-Command to destroy the Needle. Alright. I guess they begin by ticking up. Chandra seeing what they find unless they find a Windmill Slam for a draw. Oh no. K-Command. Okay, so that's real good value for them, but you know what? We're going to get the Chandra off the field. We'll shock her. We'll K-Command, shatter the Ravine, then we'll attack her off the field. Destroy artifact, 2 to a target. But the flood continues. Might as well get our other basic swamp, I guess. Okay, so we have ground through them, staying even on value. The big problem, again, is just that we're so flooded. Oh, they play Blood Moon, that's pretty great for us, but oh my god, can we just stop with the flood? Like, we've got all... They have the inevitability of Spyro for value, that's the problem, but hey, you know, Blood Moon and Thoughtseize, these are two relatively benign cards. So, obviously, Spyros are huge issues right now, but we can still out-top deck them. We just gotta start doing it. Yeah, sweet, sweet. Well, another severe flood, like in round 1, game 1. Might just lose to these very slow beats. They've got the ability to flash back a million Spyros. Lightning Bolt, not a very exciting one. So, like, I don't know what our best outs are. Anger of the Gods, Plague Engineer, stuff like this. I think we're priced into bolting this Spyro that's on the field just to preserve our life total. It's good to know that they have Blood Moon in post-side. You can imagine that it will still be in... maybe it won't be as likely in Game 3 if we go to Game 3 because they're going to be on the draw, but... Ugh, yep, okay. I'm gonna scoop. It's too much. It's too much, it's too much. Yeah, ridiculous amounts of flood against a pretty tough progression, to be honest, fighting through Liliana of the Veil, who we were priced into taking with discard. They top decked Chandra. They had 3 Seasoned Pyromancers around. Yeah, not the greatest, right? Not the greatest. I still haven't seen Young Pyromancer, though. So it makes me wonder if we want to reconfigure a little bit. I mean, Ashiok on the play is better. We'll consider another Kroxa. We can consider a Liliana of the Veil on the play. And probably not really too much else. Bolt gets a lot worse. Bolt and Push both get a lot worse if they're not even playing Young Pyro. I think I'm going to try to, like, not respect the potential for Young Pyro. So I'm going to cut my pushes. Bolts always can still go upstairs and help kill a Planeswalker, right? I'm going to try to get all 3 of these cards in and make one more cut. I think that's pretty doable. Young Pyro's a lot less scary when they're on the draw anyway. I still kind of want Anger. But that's like the card that's kind of standing out to me right now. Or if you just cut one Lightning Bolt. Alright, let's cut a Bolt. So we're a little more hateful on the play, like we have a little more graveyard hate and a little more recursive value, plus we just naturally have the advantage of being on the play. Oh, you know what? Geez, I meant to cut a discard spell or two, but we already submitted. That would be probably the thing to, like, cutting another Inquisition over Bolt is definitely the way to go, I guess. Whoops, I just kind of forgot about that. Alright. It is a keep. Thankfully we're on the play, and thankfully they'll mulligan. Nice. All right. Don't remove my Bob, please. Please. Not yet. If we untap with Bob, that's going to be something. We don't. It is a Dreadbore, but hey, we get to go Ashiok. get to go Ashiok mode. I think that's the play here. Go Ashiok, and then we've got Kroxa in hand, seems good too. So if Ashiok is going to be good, it's in this exact situation where we've got it on the play on an empty board. Hopefully it just strands fetch lands in their hand. Darn, they've got a basic. Oh, Lily's one of the worst things they could have right now. I think I'm going to pitch this. Oh no, I can't pitch the land because we haven't gotten a red yet. Yeah, that's rough. Let's pitch Kroxa. K-Command is too valuable, and I think we're just probably priced into pulsing the Lily. Or Bloodbraid Elf. I think Bloodbraid Elf is what I'll take my chance on here. Seems good. Yep, we'll take it. So if Lily ticks up, we're going to lose some value, but, you know, they're going to lose some value too, you imagine. They can't really freewheel their graveyard value with an Ashiok around. Awkward playing against a deck where we really want Kroxa, but we also really want to play around Blood Moon, because this basic forest doesn't permit us to really do that right now. I think we gotta keep the K-Command right here, right? Like, K-Command finishes off Lily if we absolutely need it to, plus, obviously... Oh, no! That's so bad they K-Command us, but hey, at least we have some stuff, and Wrenn and Six, a beautiful draw. Going to allow us to escape Kroxa next turn. While also just being a source of repeated value. Now, what I don't know is if we should consider milling with Ashiok right now. If we were going to, maybe we should have done it before we attacked with Goyf. We have creature, land... I mean, our Goyf is going to shrink if we activate Kroxa and we escape... Or if we activate Ashiok and we escape Kroxa. They have... I'm a little scared of Bedlam Reveler, but they can't quite cast it yet. They only have 3 instants and sorceries. I think we hold firm with Ashiok for now. We also cannot get our second swamp with this. We need to get a red land so we can escape. Unless they Blood Moon us, in which case we need to get the second swamp. So we can escape and also... Yeah, sure, okay. Dreadbore, you got it. Ooh, Nihil Spellbomb too? Sure. I guess before we show them that, let's escape. Okay, just a land, but one that was locked out by Ashiok, right? Okay, now that we've got the Kroxa back and a Spellbomb here, I think I am going to mill once with Ashiok. It's kind of a free roll at this point. Also, a weird win condition, because this matchup can be so grindy in a strange way. They find Spyro, sure. It's not good, is it? But... okay, they loot away Inquisition. I think I want to crack this Spellbomb just for more action. Decay Goyf. Alright. First thing I'm going to do is ping this Elemental. Next thing I'm going to do is attack with the big guy. Gets an Inquisition out of the hand. Opponent will take it. 6 damage. It's really good to find action here. I am not going to mill with Ashiok right now. Rather hang on. Not only because action, of course, affects the board, helps us win the game, but it also keeps our graveyard growing for another Kroxa escape if they find an answer to him. Opponent will crack their Sunbait Canyon and scoop it up. Kroxa! Kroxa doing work. Now look, obviously, we had some other great Jund stuff, like... myself and the other Kroxa advocates are not saying that Kroxa single-handedly wins every game when the circumstances are correct. But what we are saying is that Kroxa is, indeed, a card that can Jund. And a card that maybe should Jund in a lot of metas. I would say including this one. You know, very good against the big mana decks. Very good in attrition when the... very good against, like, anything but Dredge and maybe Hyper Aggro. Pretty much it, right? So, yeah, there you go, guys. There you go. 3-0, doing well, cashed the league, and we are playing for much more than the cash. So, let's try to get it. Feeling very, very strong with the Kroxa list at the moment, and I hope you all are enjoying this return to modern Kroxa Jund. Here we go, here we go. Round 4. Winning the die roll. It's a Kroxa hand we were supposed to keep, right? In all seriousness, I do suppose this is a keep on the play. It's a pretty medium hand, but it's functional. Opponent will mulligan as well. So we're probably going to go Goyf next turn, unless we suspect that we might need to prevent it from dying to Lightning Bolt, in which case we would want to go Kroxa first. I don't know what we're against. This could be a newer version of Urza, but it's probably more likely to be Shadow. I think we're going Kroxa here. I'm going to call it Shadow, and I'm going to go with the Kroxa. It's also possible that it's correct to use a fetch land right now just to start really fueling the Kroxa and the Goyf as early as possible, but You know, obviously we have a couple turns. The next couple turns we can use those and probably won't change anything. Opponent reading the card. So, a lot of people argue against Kroxa by saying it's not as good as Goyf or Bob on turn 2, but the people defending Kroxa say it's not really competing with those things on turn 2. You don't usually want to play it over Goyf on turn 2, but also, you know, in a situation like this, you know, we're against Shadow, I think, we don't have the incentives to start really pressuring their life total right away necessarily without any hand information. So, like, playing Kroxa there is actually kind of better than playing Goyf. So even though it's not really competing with those as a turn 2 play, that's still pretty good, right? Okay, so obviously Inquisition's pretty bad for us. They take our removal spell. We draw an Inquisition right back. Nice. Let's fire it off. And OP's on a 1-lander. We can't stop them having Gurmag Angler, but they don't have it. They just have Push, Snapcaster Mage. Oh, they didn't play a land. Wow. Why? They just get past the turn, I guess. Anyway, because they do actually have 3 lands, we'll take Snap. I'm going to start, as mentioned, using my fetches here. I'm just going to play out the Goyf. Obviously, it dies to Push, but it's better to trade with Push than trade with a discard spell for sure. And we gotta remember, don't play Basic Forest next turn, because it's Kroxa time if they push our Goyf. So I hope, yeah, they just main phase push our Goyf, that's amazing. Because now we get Defection on and Escape. We draw a trophy, that's good. But right, it is 5 cards to escape. Cool. Guess we can afford another basic, right? It is Kroxa time again. It's Kroxa O'Clock. What's going on? What's going on? Get a swamp out of the hand. Do 3. So opponent's hand is 1 unknown Teamer Battle Rage. The nightmare would be that they have like Shadow, TBR, Stubby D. Right? Even so, like, they're literally just facing lethal from Kroxa right now, unless they want to pitch TBR to it. Lily of the Veil. Okay. So we've got interesting choices. I kind of think we are supposed to actually just fire up the Ravine and attack. Then we have Lily and Trophy in hand. We're presenting lethal even if they just have 2 kind of dead cards in hand. I think that's what we're going to do. Also because, like, playing Lily as good as she is a real feel bad if we're going to be ticking up losing Trophy. Like, let's just make them beat our board. They can't. Kroxa. Look at that. Look at that, guys. Wasn't even like an ideal situation for Kroxa, but at the same time it was. Because Kroxa gets it done in these attrition matchups for sure. So that's a nice one to win Game 1 against Shadow. As I mentioned in Round 1, rolling over in the Game 1 isn't what we want to be, right? But okay, so on the draw we were configured with these 4 things. Ashiok is worse on the draw. I think we said Kalitas was play, not draw. Still might play the Ashiok, though. Ashiok's been good. Consider cutting like 2 Inquisitions. Can you just cut all 4 lightning bolts? Yeah, let's just do it like that. We'll play a one of Ashiok when we'll play this stuff, no Kalitas. And then if they take us to game 3, maybe we bring Kalitas back on the play. Yeah. Okay, OP keeping 7. Our hand is unexciting, but it is a keep. Bloodstained Mire, bauble, pass. It's unlikely that they present us a push target, but yeah, this is kind of where we don't want to be on the draw, just having like a mono threats hand on the draw without disruption of the hand is a little scary. They will fetch and then shock and then cycle Street Wraith. And then Thought Scour, okay? Looked like they might have been on a one-lander for a minute there, but it doesn't appear to be the case. Looks like they're on a Gurmag Angler hand, which is pretty scary. Gotta fetch while it's on the stack and make them think they're gonna get monetized. That would be that would be the day, right? Okay, yep, again, the mono threats hand looking a little soft to their progression. And this is before they even start interacting with us, but we'll see. We'll see. Always unfortunate to draw your pushes when they're on Angler, especially when we only have 2 in our deck and we have a lot of hard removal to Angler, but, you know, that is an issue sometimes, and certainly not over yet, but I don't really like our position, despite us having a lot of value still in hand, a lot of things to do. Gotta fade them having a Liliana here. That would be a disaster. Okay, Fatal Push. Kinda whatever. Into Shadow. Kinda whatever. Alright. Ashiok, you know, the big problem here is I think they have a Stubby D. I have an incentive to push main phase, because if they don't, I get to play Goyf. But if we think they have one, then I should wait until their upkeep. No, I still shouldn't, because then they could have 2. I guess either way we should main phase it. So let's do that. Cool. So the other thing we want them not to have is another Fatal Push or Snap Push or really any other removal, right? It's kind of a lot to ask. But all we can do is play our stuff out and hope they don't have the beating of it. They got a Thought Scour, okay. Yeah, see, this is what I mean about Ashiok being too slow on the draw. Like, they can get Angler turn 2 fairly consistently. So, like, playing a turn 3 static hate piece on the draw, just way too slow in most cases. But, like, again, we don't have that great of a configuration against them. So I don't mind playing the one of, but I certainly like it way better on the play. Well, Kiddo's going crazy again up above. They take Ashiok. Wow. Really? It's actually pretty scary. Oh, okay, whatever. They got Snap Thoughtseize. Or Snap Push. Much worse. Well, you know what we can do, though, is draw Lily of the Veil. Then we'll push the human. We'll Edict the Angler, and all will be well. Let's draw Liliana, or Trophy or Pulse. Ooh, that's not it. Alright. Might as well be as careful with our life total as we can. So I guess we're going to get Basic Mountain, Plague Man naming human. Yeah. Alright, the fact that they took Ashiok over the Plague Man means they unfortunately probably have a removal spell for it, but I only have one card in hand. So it can't be Fatal Push unless they just hope they're going to draw a way to get Revolt. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, we're not dead because they didn't shock us. They shocked the board, but obviously that's about as bad as it gets. It's not over because presumably they play a Shadow here and we push it and then we still can top deck and out, but you know, them having any removal was really what we needed to fade, especially a 2-for-1. So, alright, come on, Lily. Liliana of the Veil. One time. You know, on my Plague Rock League, I must have called the opponent's shots like 100% of the time. Apparently, I don't have the power to call my own shots. I really need to cultivate that. That would be very helpful. So that is a shame. We were still on the cliff's edge even if we had found an out, because of course at 2 we're dead to another K command. But yeah, that's a shame. So now we've got to win game 3. I like our configuration just as well, like maybe Kalitas is worthy on the play. Obviously he's clunky, we saw that in round 1. But like, playing 5 discard spells on the play is just a little clunky too. Like, I'm playing more discard against Shadow these days than I used to, but 5 is still like asking for some dead top decks, right? I think having the extra body is fine. Let's play the Kalitas. And let's get this, guys. Let's get it. It's a Kroxa hand, it's another Kroxa hand. We keep. It's a pretty good all-around hand, too. Only thing awkward is no ability to play Goyf. Potentially until turn 4, but we'll make do. I'm going to shock in there in case we draw, well, guess that doesn't really matter for drawing Wrenn and Six, whatever. Shadow, Thought Scour, they have Angler. Ooh. Ooh. And they have double Wraith. Oh, this hand is just scary. Scary, scary hand. I think I'm going to take Thought Scour. Hopefully that sends the signal that they don't want to go as aggressively on the Shadow as they might otherwise. Been in those raids on the end step. Then they show us a land we didn't know about, and they'll pass. Okay. I'm just going Kroxa mode here. obviously Bloodbraid is got us set up for a nice turn 4. We get Blood Crypt out of their hand. Okay, so here comes the Angler. It's actually going to be pretty scary if they delve it all away to go Angler Shadow. They do. Okay, well. Gotta get something good here. Fatal Push. That's the perfect draw. Alright, that just bought us a lot of time. And hey, we never didn't have it. We sent them the signal not to go all in on the Shadow, but they wouldn't listen. But we had that the whole time, right? Had it the whole time. So now we are just trying to stay alive. Oh, Thoughtseize, come on. What a perfectly timed Thoughtseize for them. They're hesitating. I think the clear take is Bloodbraid, but the hesitation shows me they probably don't have a Fatal Push of their own in hand. Wow, the opponent tanking about this. What does that mean? They must just not have removal. And obviously Tarmogoyf can outsize Angler in the course of a normal game. They do end up taking the Bloodbraid Elf, though. Another Goyf. So awkward with our mana right now. But all in all, a potentially reasonable draw. Just really sucks that we couldn't have a double spell turn this turn. Wow. Opponent down to 4. So they are dead to a Raging Ravine hit. Can they even afford to attack? What's going to go on here? This is really intense. They do attack, that's... And they didn't even hesitate, so that sucks. That means they do have removal. Maybe like, yeah. Or they have Shadow, okay. Well, they're dead if we draw land to the Ravine hit. That's not what they've got. Or that's not what... Whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. Ooh, this is super intense right now. Kolaghan's Command. This is very, very, very intense. If our mana had been less awkward last turn, that would have been something. That would have been something, right? I guess we just have to say go here. Like, holding up the K command has got to be better than playing a Goyf. Just don't really know how we're going to get there anymore. If they attack with only Shadow, we're in big trouble. And they do. Can't believe they found another one of these guys. Do we have any... I don't think we just don't have, like, any good plays, really. Just gonna have to buy back the Bloodbraid Elf and hope, right? Gotta hope they don't have permission. And I guess we're hoping to cheese them out with Burn, which is basically another K command because bolts are no longer in our deck. All right, I guess we shock and return. This also lets us draw an untapped land. No, never mind. Never mind that. Oh, Liliana. Oh, Lily. Oh, you're just a little late. Just a little late to the party. Come on, Bloodbraid. Come on, another K command. Come on. No, Thoughtseize. Okay, well, I guess we're not dead if we cast it, so let's cast it. And then next turn we can unearth Kroxa if we live. So we'll go to 6, we'll chump the Shadow. Oh my god, this is so intense. Kroxa can steal the game. Okay. Snapcaster Mage K command? You've gotta be kidding me. You've gotta be kidding me! They have 2 ways to splash in damage. We're dead. That's so tilting. Ooh, that's so tilting. Alright, we're taking K command, and we're hoping they don't just flash in the snap on the end step. But clearly they should. That's unbelievable. I mean, unreal. Oh, so close yet so far, my friends. So close yet so far. If we had been, we didn't have a fetch land all game. If we just had a fetch land in our progression, I think we probably win off the back of Kroxa. I could play a 9th fetch land in this deck, and maybe should. I wanted to play the full 4 Blackcleave Cliffs as a nod to the aggro, the burn and all that that's everywhere that we're not facing. But, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, you know, the 9th fetch land, good with Wrenn and Six, good with Kroxa. It's probably a change I'll make. Either way, that was so winnable. That was so winnable. I won't complain because our variance has been pretty good overall, but man, how nice would it be to be 4-0 going into this final round? As is, you know, we're showing the power of Kroxa, we're showing the power of Jund, having a good time, but as I say, so close yet so far. Final round coming right up, my friends. In the meantime, I'll remind you to check out the links in the description below, because the Grimflayer is sponsored by Brian Palmer, art.com, doing tokens, playmats, and commissions with a wonderful style and a great deal of expertise. You can get 10% off by using the code GrimflayerMTG. Check it out. Appreciate everybody doing so, and appreciate Brian for sponsoring the content. Well, here we go with a really awkward hand. I guess we're supposed to keep it. We're supposed to keep like mostly any functional hand in blind game 1. Maybe we're against Tron and these trophies are amazing. Opponent mulls, sure, we'll keep it. But in a great many matchups, we'll wish the trophies were other forms of interaction. To be sure. Aha, did I summon the red deck wins archetype by saying how we weren't playing against it? I sure did. Okay, Goblin Guide. Turn 1 Goblin Guide. Not our favorite. Showing us a land. Alright, we need to draw 1 mana interaction. We draw a 4 mana spell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we are just discarding to hand size here. Just deciding what's the best land to play. I guess Blood Crypt is fine. So even though we have to discard to hand size due to the Goblin Guide, which doesn't come up often, it still did get us value because it got a bad top deck off the top, right? We didn't need the 5th land, so just basically scrying for us and maybe growing the Goyf and feeding Kroxa. Goblin Guide into Eidolon. Okay, that's tough. That's tough. We draw Inquisition. Oh, that would have been the beautiful draw of last turn. Now I don't know what to do. Now we've got so many different incentives. We want to trophy the Eidolon as fast as humanly possible. Just playing into it is so loose, but Inquisition could very well be dead from here on out. We could also play Tarmogoyf, but Tarmogoyf does not block well. I think I'm going to price myself into trophying Eidolon here. It's not really a winning line. None of our lines are really winning lines. If we were on the play and this exact thing happened, I would be actually fairly confident. I guess we let the Goblin Guide attack first and then we'll shuffle away whatever they reveal if it's not a land. It is a land, sure. The other reason to let it happen is because we have a higher chance of getting a free land before we shuffle, which we did. So obviously trophy here, pretty awkward, specifically because they have a Sunbaked Canyon and they mulliganed. But we're just simply not going to beat it. If we just, like, Inquisitioned last turn, we're going to be at 13 now before they do any burn to us. We would be at 9 and just, like, dead if we had Inquisitioned last turn, because we'd be at 11, but they'd still have an Eidolon on the field. Anyway, next turn is almost certainly going to be Inquisition into Goyf. And that could be the start of us stabilizing. Could also be just too little too late. I like Lightning Bolt. Not going to use it right now, but I like it. Okay, we're at 4. We're dead to another Boros Charm. They have double Helix in hand. Yikes. Okay. We need probably like 3 bricks off the top for them. Any action right now is lethal. Any 1-mana action, including a creature. Helix. Okay, they found it. What is it? Lightning Bolt. Okay. Well, you know, I think the burn matchup is fun to play. I really like it on Rock. It's obviously a lot harder on Jund, but we can win it. And I plan to, so let's do our best. I'm going to be pretty confident going into this post-side game, and then maybe a lot less confident on the draw. But all things we're considering here... do we consider Anger of the Gods? Let's see what we don't like. Thoughtseizes, Bobs. So we've got some soul searching to do here because we have a lot, like our value-oriented stuff, we're kind of committed pretty hard to it, and we've been crushing the attrition matchups today. But we got to find the right balance of what to do and what not to do in terms of all this stuff post-side. Like we're weighing Kroxa versus Wrenn versus Spyro versus like Kolaghan's commands and angers. I think I'm going to bring in all 6 of these cards. Again, I don't know about anger, but we'll try it. Definitely like all the others well enough. Besides maybe K-Command. But we'll consider moving off of the Wrenn plan. We only need to make 2 cuts. So I guess we'll just play the K-Commands. Lets us use our creatures a lot more aggressively if that comes up. We got one Wrenn for some value. Nothing else in the sideboard we really need. Alright, well. Let's see how it goes, my friends. Let's see how it goes. Okay, well, you know, I guess we're supposed to keep this, right? Inquisition into Brutality. Yeah, okay, keep. I have really no idea what land to play, though. I guess it's fine to shock in here. Certainly not ideal, but like pitching these fetch lands to Brutality is effectively gaining some life. Okay, they've got a triple creature progression. Yikes. Just gonna take one of the creatures. Then we get a fully escalated Brutality next turn. They are on a one-lander, though, so it really gives us time to get our feet underneath us unless they hit the second land in their first two draw steps. And obviously, regardless of how many lands they have, Inquisition into Brutality on the play is really good. They immediately hit the land. They show us that they hit the land. Okay. Wow. The Flood. Alright, let's get basic forest. The only thing that doesn't let us do is double red. But we're going to have 2 hit lands left in hand anyway, so... taking the bolt here. So their hand is Arid Mesa, Path to Exile, Swifty, Skullcrack. It's a pretty good hand still, despite our great disruption. They've kind of got all their bases covered in that, like, they can deal with the Goyf. They have Flood Insurance with a Sunbait Canyon. That was an incredible draw for them, by the way. They've got Skullcrack, obviously interacting with our life gain. You gotta be kidding me. Just drawing, like, keeping the 5-lander and drawing 2 more lands? Really? I'm immediately cracking the Peatland because we have incentives to do so. We're not rewarded this turn, but drawing a removal spell is kind of fine, I guess. Why'd it have to be trophy, though? Our luck is taking a downswing here, my friends, at the end of the league, which is fine. These things happen. Again, as always, I wish I could just play more for you, you know? I wish we could jam all day and even out the variance a little bit, but we had this pretty good variance at the beginning of the league. Kroxa. Really punished for getting basic forest, aren't we? I almost want to play Kroxa now because feels like his discard mode is going to get a lot worse as the game goes on. I'm going to make that judgment call. It might be a punt. I also don't want to trophy them right away. Really hurts that we cannot escape him until we draw a 5th land, though. So, I mean, maybe fetching basic forest is almost always incorrect in this deck, but I think against burn, we've got to make that exception. if our hand dictates as much, right? But we could have maybe shocked in the Overgrown Tomb turn 1, and then like Tomb plus Mountain kind of lets us do everything. Something to think about for the future. So hopefully the opponent doesn't have anything great here at the end step. They have a freaking Lightning Helix. Yeah, I mean, they're just gassing out. So one of the reasons it was good to Kroxa there, I think, is because they want to play reactively with a Skullcrack, but there's a tension between that and the Prowess triggers. So unless they drew a 2-mana burn spell, they were pretty... Then they draw another 2-mana burn spell? Alright, we're max punished, but it really doesn't matter, because I don't think we're beating this progression anyway. Unless we hit one of our life gain cards, like now. But yeah, pretty clearly max punished for what we've decided to do. Okay, Goyf. Pretty bad timing on the Goyf. More mana awkwardness, too. We got a trophy this turn. Goyf is pretty soundly beat by Path to Exile. Yeah, not getting any love from the top of our deck here, really. Unlike OP. OP's gassing right out. Okay, we're Skullcracked. I don't think we can afford to fetch. They have one card in hand. This hesitation means they just got another... Yeah, they just got another. I mean, what are you supposed to do against this, right? I believe they've drawn a burn spell with literally every draw step. Okay, I think we're supposed to play Lily here to get the path out of there. Oh, we get the Goyf out of our own hand that way. Hold up, hold up. Okay, let's just play Goyf. We're dead. We're very obviously dead. This opponent will not brick for as long as we need them to brick. In fact, I expect lethal off the top right here, right now. Look at that. Never didn't have it. Well, that was insane, guys. If we had gotten a little bit luckier against, like a little bit less destroyed against Shadow in that game 3, we'd be 4-0 cruising into the final round. We would have gotten a different pairing, and then who knows? Who knows? But shows you, it's like the butterfly effect, right? Like, one little thing happens, and then it all goes to hell. It all goes to hell. But that was still a pretty successful league overall. Hey, we cashed it. We got a positive record. But clearly just taking a nosedive with variance, like 2/3 of the way through the league. That's all right, though. Again, as I've said before, we had some solid curve outs. We didn't really have to mulligan this league, so I can't complain too much. And we showed you the immense power of Kroxa, Titan of Death's Hunger, when the games are going long, which I don't think this is reserved only to attrition matches. Like, it can be good against Burn. The problem that we saw against Burn is opponent was nutting us, and we were just totally whiffing. Like, if the games are close against Burn, I think Kroxa is genuinely a fine card. You know you do need to end the game against Burn, and Kroxa is going to do it in, like, 1 or 2 hits, depending on what else has gone on, right? So, in any case, there was our league. That was Kroxa number 2, and I don't think anything else instead of Kroxa... Like, probably one of the matchups where Kroxa is worse than the competitor of Scavenging Ooze would be against Burn. 0% chance that Skooz saves us in either of those matchups. It's just simply not going to happen with our lack of good early interaction, like, beyond what we kept in our opening hands, and our mana woes and all that. Like, Skooz is just so hard to get up and running sometimes in Jund when you really need every point of life to count, right? So anyway, guys, I'm high on Kroxa. Always, you can let me know what you think. No one person, certainly not me, can test enough to have the empirical opinion, right? But I'm just showing you. I've made the arguments in my Kroxa Will It Jund video. Showed you a couple pieces of League gameplay with him now. I think this was a really good showcase for what he can bring to the table, so I hope you enjoyed it, my friends. Thank you once again to our newest Patreon supporter, Inquisitor, Vinny Fino, and thank you as always to all Patreon supporters out there. I hope I continue earning your patronage, and I'm always listening, so if you have any feedback for the channel, please let it rip, and I'm going to keep bringing you this content otherwise. Going to keep sticking to Plan A. So there we go, my friends. Kroxa doing some work in Modern, and I will talk to you soon. See you for the next gameplay video. We've got a spicy variant of Rock coming up in Donation League. We got to play some mono-black aggro in Pioneer. We got to play some more mono-red prowess, and we got to keep playing and got to keep junding them out too, right? So thanks again for watching. Talk to you soon. Hope everybody out there has a wonderful night.